division. That would be, we're gonna be finishing up with partial quotient, so that's the guided practice. And just more, I feel like with my kids, I'm gonna still have to really be guiding on and getting them to understand it's like it's pretty flexible. I mean, it's not like you have to take certain chunks out of the number. It's whatever's easiest for them to use. So really gonna hit it hard on that one. And then day 6 is where we're gonna start the standard algorithm. Is that where y'all are gonna be too?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna make sure that we're gonna use the base 10 that day, and
More teacher led.
yes, more teacher led, and we said that we're gonna really hit on the visibility rules as well. And so those next 3 days, so Tuesday through Thursday, 6, 7, and 8, long division, standard algorithm, and Wednesday and Thursday, kind of letting them, like, I guess, more independently work on those problems. Tuesday, we're definitely gonna be with, like, making sure that they get those steps down. And then Friday, they're gonna do the mixed strategies, and they can pick what strategy they wanna use. Is that what?
Yes.
Okay.
So they can go back to array, area model,
Yes.
partial quotient.
I can't even see up there. All right, so for the teaks, we're gonna be on 4.4E and 4.4F. And so E is what we're doing this week. It's representing the quotient using arrays, area models, and equations. And let's look.
Up to 4-digit dividend and 1-digit divisor.
Yes. 4.4F is what we're gonna be introducing, more introducing this coming week. And that's with these algorithms. The standard algorithm using partial quotient, and we're dividing 4-digit dividend by 1-digit divisor.
And just making sure you're hitting those vocabulary words, dividend, divisor, quotient, divisibility, all of those kind of things. And I was showing them today, these were in the folder from this week, but I don't know if y'all use these, and we kind of color coded them. And like with the array, I did it where I had them color coded. We talked about how we already know the total. There's 78, and we divided it into 3 rows, and then we did colors, and we did it. I referred back to like the base 10 blocks, which I did in intro division yesterday. So it was like 2 longs, and then I told them don't fill these in completely because it's not 10 total. And I said, so then we had 6. So then we talked about there's 26 in each row. There's no need in doing each one. And then we talked about, then I made it on the whiteboard. I drew the division symbol, and I said, okay, this is 78 total in here. And I said divided by 3. And so then it was able to bring down to the area model. So then when we go into partial quotients on Friday, and then of course the Monday that we're planning, and like I'm gonna bring these back up and just show the progression, and then so that when we get to standard algorithm, they can see the progression of all of them. So those were great, because then the picture was already drawn for us for area model.
And because they have to be able to connect it, otherwise they're gonna get super confused, or they're not gonna know the purpose of what they're doing. So
exactly. So we were showing on here. I did the same thing, and I said, okay, that's like 13 longs or 13 groups of 10. So then we started, breaking it up, and I showed them, and I even drew on the board like the sticks inside here, the base 10. Okay. So these are helpful because then you don't have to like create the whole array. Yeah. It's already kind of created for you. You just color code it to help. That's good. Another one would be like if you were doing 604 divided by 6. Okay, I always teach my kid with the 3 dividends that there has to be an answer above each one. So I make them draw like the little lines above it, because here's where this is going to help, because it's 6 divided by 6 when they get into the standard algorithm. That is 1, which is 6. Here they have to put an answer here, because if not, if it's nothing, then they just want to bring down the 4. And so they need to know to put a 0 there in the tens place, because there's no tens to divide up. And then bring down the 1s now, and then I have 4 1s left, And then, so that way they know to plug in digits. So
Yes.
above each dividend, I make them draw a line,
Yeah.
because that's a common misconception, especially if it's a 0 in one of the quotients, they'll skip over it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's a common.
And I know that I showed my class that problem, the one that you came in on, and it was, they were all doing multiplication with it. We're dividing cookies out by, into five friends, and they were putting the total number of cookies, and they were giving that to each friend. So getting they're getting multiplication and division, I guess, kind of mixed up. And so, but I feel like using the manipulatives, you only get a certain number, so you can't
you start
get
out
more.
with a total.
Yeah, so you
And
start
so
with
we're
a
not
total.
looking for a total. So you start out with a total, and you're dividing into groups, or whatever. So like the other day when I was doing with my class, I said, okay, there's 20 of you. We're going to divide up into 3 teams. I want to know how many are on each team.
Right.
So we did that. And then I said, okay, now that there's still 20 of you, but I want you into teams of 6.
So
How many teams could I create? So just understanding the language, the group, relate it back to that group times each equals total. We already know the total. Are we dividing by the groups to know how many are in each group? Are we taking the total and dividing, 6 in each group? How many groups does that create?
Yes,
so just
that is so
referring
important, yes.
back to
the
multiplication.
Yes.
Another thing that I saw, it's on our common assessment, that they do is they don't understand, like here.
Come up with different. I mean, there's not just one real reason. I feel like if the kids have a purpose behind it, they're gonna understand. Okay, we're learning all these strategies because number one, it breaks it off, especially partial quotients. I bet kids love that, and they realize there's not just one way to divide. Like you can it's whatever's easier for them. So pretty much making it easier for them. Is that how you would kind of explain it?
Yeah.
I mean, making it
easier. And that's what I told them. I told them today. I said, just like when we taught multiplication, we showed you using pictorial array models, and then we went on to area models so that we don't have to draw those pictures every time if we don't need to, but we can. I said, and then we went to partial products, and then we went to standard algorithm. Now you get to choose. I said, we're doing the same thing with division. I'm showing you pictorially how it's divided up into the 3, and just said it's the same thing. We're going to go through the progression, and then at the end, you get to, they don't have to map.
And I think while we're doing showing on these strategies, we need to be asking some questions I wrote down one last time. How can arrays, area models, equations, strip diagrams, and other pictorial models aid in problem solving? How is
Okay.
On the common assessment, we had already talked about it too.
one more?
Number
I believe.
7, just make sure you're including those fact families.
Oh, and look at what it says on D. You want to put it on here?
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah. Yep. Everybody's going to circle D.
So, it's 4 groups of 5, which is.
And this could not be, okay, I'm telling them to find the one that's false, because I'm trying to explain it.
Yes.
I'm like,
would not be.
It's false.
So this would be in the fact family, this would not be.
Yes.
So just teaching them all the 4 different ways to write.
So do you make them write true, false on the side? That's what my
I mean, I was trying that.
Mine is, or like read it and email them, go through each question.
Okay.
Sometimes tricky.
And I was thinking about what you said on that one. That was, I don't know
Yeah,
if
on
Victoria's
the,
that.
I was telling you the other day about my kid, the gridables, I was telling them on the last common assessment, they want to multiply it and it goes into 10,000s, I had kids wanting to add 2 more sections, or I had one, just writing it in here. Sure, you're practicing I don't know if you have one, but I think last year or the year before, we had one of those gridables blown up.
That's what I was going to say.
And
We need that.
laminated?
Yes.
Also, when you're doing partial quotients this Friday and then, of course, next Monday, talking about the different ways to chunk it. Okay, so
Okay, yeah.
And that's
making sure-
distributive property, is that
Yeah.
what that, yeah.
So we're just talking about how to distribute. So just make sure you're including that too, not just area model, but in partial. Just make sure you're talking about how to do it in parentheses. And then the what gets them is the middle operation. making sure they're paying attention to that too. Here's this I created that you can, it breaks it down and it creates, you can create like a foldable, this is old school, but you know, and then I used to write it all out, but glue them in so that they have this next to them when they do revision. They have the steps. There's these little things that you can use. This is the deck. There's also the, on Edge of 40, I printed it off, but the division packing and unpacking. So what you do is you take base 10 blocks. You've got these little trucks, and so then you can, like the trucks can carry a long 10, and so then you would divide it up. So it's a good visual for them. It's a fun game. It's division, and you play with partner A and partner B.
Here's a PowerPoint. They so we've used this with the multiplication. I'm gonna put it in the share drive, but it's she has 2x1 2 divided by 1 long division problems, and she goes to the steps, but she uses money. There's a whole sheet that actually goes with it, and it goes with the PowerPoint, so it goes through all the steps.
So would that be like for Wednesday, or what would y'all do that?
Well, Tuesday, I don't know, Tuesday, you know, with the base 10 blocks with the trucks and stuff, you do something like that, it's gonna take pretty much the whole time. So you could start out with these on Wednesday, because
I have this as a check as I go division. What you do is you make a little mini book, and you're gonna have to cut them all out if you're gonna do the mini book. But they just flip, like they write down the equation. This is it. So I asked my husband to play this game with me last night, and he couldn't. So well, she goes stomp.
I saw that.
Yes, put pizza. It was on Edge for you, and even the remainder can be included.
Could we do that for the mixed strategies, like on Friday?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
and they could do
like a Friday
yeah.
thing. 'Cause
Then they
that's
get to
fun.
choose.
And then they could put it in stations after we did it, like. on
Yes,
Friday.
I'm gonna tell
I
them
don't know.
why they're good. And I'm gonna type these questions up so that way if you're needing some like I don't know, like if you want them to respond back like in just writing or whatever, like I don't know, they're just higher level thinking questions. So I'm gonna put those down there.
I did what you were thinking. I for the partial product, I took away the divisor and I put just the products to see how I could challenge the GT kids. So remember we said what
Oh yes, and I couldn't tell you what that.
no, we were
yes.
like, what could you take away to have to make them think a little more, you know? So I took away the divisor.
Yes, we're good.
All right.